Hey guys, so I made a video last night that at first I really didn't intend to be public. I was just wanting to comment on a Facebook post of a friend without typing it all out, and I wanted to, to do it face to face, for better of a lack of a better term. So I made my little video with my commentary. And I got permission of the guy whose page it was. Said, "Here, my comments. Can I post it?" He says, "Yes, go ahead." So, here's the context. There's a guy that I met who sent me a message on my American Truck Driver Facebook page. Who to this day I still haven't met face to face. But he says, "Hey, I'm interested in becoming an owner operator. You're an owner operator, and I would like you to help me." And so we talked, and I asked him 1,000 questions, making sure he knew what he was getting into. And so, we got to be friends. He came to work for the company where I work, and I have continue to serve as his mentor. And so he's about, I guess, 3 or 4 months into it now. I've been doing it 3 years. I now have my own truck. He is currently leasing his truck. And so he tells me about this Facebook post that he makes around the minimum wage discussion. And he has a brother-in-law who is very pro-union, very pro-regulated market. And so he makes a general post. Americans are still free to choose where to work, how much for, how long to work, as well as how hard to work. No one is forced to work anywhere. Furthermore, these corporations that are getting bashed hire millions of people to do unskilled labor and often do not require a high school diploma. I know it's difficult to make a decent living. It has been a long time since I have not worked 60 to 70 hours a week to feed my family, but that is my choice, and others can choose to make changes on their lives in order to get ahead. No one is going to give you a free ride. It's your individual responsibility to make these decisions. Well, the brother-in-law jumps on. And they back and forth for a few days. And then I drop my few cents in. Now I'll post, I'll keep, identities confidential, but I'll take the basic gist of this and I'll post it in a blog on American Truck Driver so you can all read it. So, if you saw the video last night entitled Facebook Response, you saw what I had to say. And I'd like to read what was presented back to me and then respond. Quote, this is from Brandon. "Polk, that is one of the best lines of BS I have ever heard. LMBO. Laughed my butt off. You are hilarious. I love how you miscombobulated my sentences to make it sound better for yourself. But without realizing it, you just made my point. Your industry is apparently getting screwed and not making enough money. Or maybe a better way to say this is your free market is destroying your industry. Sure, there's always someone is willing to do it cheaper, but can they do it as good or better? If you're half as good as you claim that you are, and I'm sure the answer is no. Therefore, your product, which in your case is trucking, should speak for itself and get paid what it's worth. I'm sorry if you don't think you're worth more or that your future employees aren't either, but you choose to work in the industry that you did, which explains a lot. It's a hard industry to survive in, so is construction. However, in construction is a whole lot easier to see the bad quality work. However, back to business. If you cannot afford to provide your employees with what they need to survive and have a future, you have no right to own a business, and it already sounds like you don't have much confidence in it. You haven't even started it yet, and you're already talking about it failing. Oh yeah, I was going to comment on the dollar speech, but to be honest, I completely forgot the BS you were preaching, LOL. But here is something for you, just like you said about the Walmart and McDonald's employees. If you don't like your job or the conditions that you're in, quit. Find something better. Get a better education. Find another skill that you have. Sounds to me that you're worried about the man undercutting you, so you undersell yourself. You sound like a smart man, just not one that makes smart decisions. This is America in 2013, where if you don't have anything logical to say to provide an argument, you just attack. Hey, genius, I make anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 a week, much higher in the spring and summer, and a little lower in the fall and winter. My basic budget is set at $2,500 a week. Okay? I'm a truck driver. Now, I have to pay, now that's after my fuel. After my fuel is paid, I make $2,500 a week minimum. Now, there are some weeks I've made as much as $5,000, and there are some weeks I've made as little as $300. It goes up and down, as does business. I have made a lot of really stupid decisions. I have. I mean, I've got a truckload of them. I've fallen flat on my face more than once. But each time I've got back up, I've dusted myself off, and I've kept going straight. This attitude, and it's not just you, the individual, Brandon, as we'll call you from this post. We come to a place in this country where debate is no longer debate. It's attack, respond, attack, respond. If I don't have anything better to say, well, I'll just call you a racist or a bigot or whatever, and don't actually have to consider what other people do. I make a great living in trucking, a better living than I've ever made in my life. Now, I have in this season of my business, and yes, my business has already started. It started 3 years ago. But in this season of my business, things are slow because the market is slow. Nothing can ever change that. It's December. I was just talking with one of my trucking friends the other day that was crying about freight rates. And I'm like, hey, it's December. You have to just scrape and claw to get every dime because it's December. Things will start spooling up in April, and it'll be, wide open from April to the end of October. But it makes me sad that so many people will take the line of BS, as you so aptly stated, that's presented by the media or labor unions or the government in their infinite wisdom. And then someone who actually has an experience, whether it's me or it's a doctor, someone who, could be someone that employs 500 people. And we say, well, I hear what the media's saying, and I hear what the government's saying, and I hear what, this other group is saying, but that doesn't match my personal experience. And then I am the one that's wrong because I don't match what the media and the government and the trade organization or the labor union says. Well, I'm wrong. And that's really a sad place to be because we Americans sit on our big fat rumps and we'll take the spoonfuls of propaganda that CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News gives us. And then all of a sudden that becomes the gospel. While people's actual experiences, well, that doesn't matter because, you're not Sean Hannity or Rachel Maddow or Jimmy Hoffa or the American Trucking Association. Well, what they says is good because they're smarter than you are. So, yes, in the future, when I grow this, if I choose to, I may not choose to grow it. And I'm trying not to be over dramatic or be silly, but I have legitimate fears about trying to grow a business, not in this economy, in this labor market, because people don't seem to want to work. They want to have things handed to them, and they don't want to have any. Maybe I'm just making too much out of it. Someday I'll have employees, whether it be in trucking or some other business, and I will pay them what they are worth. And that is solely based on what they bring to the table. However hard you're willing to work is however much I'm willing to pay you. If you're unskilled labor, and you come to me and you've got a high school diploma and nothing else, you've never worked a job in your entire life, but you can speak, you can read, you can write, you're moderately coherent, I can put you to work doing something. I can monetize the value of the labor you put forth. Now, if you come to me and you, not only do you have some type of certificate or degree, but you also have experience in your field, well, you're automatically worth more. I have a commercial driver's license, and that has a specific stated value to it. It's worth, you can trip over your shoelaces and make 35 or 40 grand in this business just simply having a license. But on top of that, not only do I have the license, I have flatbed experience, I have van experience, I have refrigerated experience, I have household goods experience, I have blanket wrap experience, hauling delicate furniture and fixtures. See, I have lots more intangible experience and knowledge that isn't taught in the classroom. It's taught in the workplace. And that raises my value in the marketplace. I'm worth plenty, but as I've come to today, I'm worth, a minimum. If somebody's going to pay me in trucking, and they've got the right job, I'm worth 75, 80 grand as a driver. Because, not because I fell out of the sky and I have announced I am worthy. I have experience, 15 years driving experience. I have experience in other fields. And so I'm worth more. Any person walking down the street can put together, starting from zero, from nothing. Can go get a license, can go drive, can go learn, spend a year, switch divisions, switch freight, run different lanes, and build that experience. And as they do, they become worth more. But this idea that you just, I exist, I suck oxygen, therefore I am. That doesn't work. You're worthless. When you've got this arrogant, entitled mentality, and you walk into the workplace and say, pay me, here I am. That's a crock. In closing, I will say that this year, 2013, we nearly lost everything we had because of the EPA regulations. And so I'm done with EPA regulations. I went and bought a truck that's non-compliant. It's a 2007 model. It doesn't have after treatment. It doesn't have regeneration, nor will it ever. I will drive this truck until the frame breaks, and I'll weld it back together, and I'll drive it some more. Because I will not allow people who have a religion, in this case, a climate change, global warming religion, to dictate my life. It's not going to happen. And so life is a lot less stressful when you stop trying to interfere in other people's lives. I will go out, I will make my living, I will survive, I will provide for my family, I will enter the marketplace, and I will thrive, and other people will thrive because of me. So that's where I'm going to leave it, and I'll get all this stuff together, and I'll post it to a blog on AnAmericanTruckDriver.com, and you guys can read the full conversation. It's a hoot. We'll see you next time.